Hello everyone, this side Anshika Jain working as a legal intern with LEXIS and Company for the month of July. I hope all of you are doing great. So I am back with a new topic, and today's topic is regarding a very important topic that really need to be addressed. We know that India is the second most populous country after China, so it's high time for Indians to realize that our overpopulation should be reduced in order to get more employment, in order to feed to all the Indians that are residing here. So yes, it's a time to realize regarding that. So there arises a very important question, that is, do India need a two child policy? So this question really needs an answer. So let's discuss and today analyze what should be the answer of this very important question. So no one is surprised when I say that India has been dealing with problem of overpopulation for a long time. As a result of this, overpopulation, resources are exhausted, job opportunities are scarce, and even the environment is being damaged. To address this issue, the state government, they have also have launched various schemes. Like the Assam government, they have started to implement the two child policy in 2017, which states that if a family has more than two children after 2021, they will lose their ability to work in any government job, and they will also be barred from running for local bodies and even the panchayat elections. Even at the federal level, efforts are being made to introduce a population control measure. The two child policy limit was enforced across the country after a population control bill was introduced in the Rajya Sabha. It was decided that if a person has more than two children, they would not be hired by the government, and they will not be eligible for any government programs, and some even suggested that they should lose their voting rights. So is this a good way to deal with overcrowding? So now let's discuss which states have already introduced this and some states which are on the being of introducing that. So India's child policy. First and foremost, it should be noted that Assam is not the only state to enact such legislation. We have 12 other states that have also implemented this two child policy. So first was in Rajasthan, which started that in 1992. Next we have the Odisha, that started in 1993. Then Haryana and Andhra Pradesh in the year 1994. Then Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, they have started it in 2000. Then Maharashtra in 2003, Gujarat 2005, Bihar 2007, and the recent was Assam in the year 2017. So former Indian Administrative Service officer Nirmala Burch, she conducted a five-state study that found a rise in sex selective and unsafe abortion in states where the two-child policy was prevalent, with men forcing their wives to run for local body elections and families giving up their children for adoption to avoid being eliminated from the polls. Now let's discuss the historical background. So controlling population increase has been a goal of the United Nations since 1951. Mahatma Gandhi was a vocal opponent for contraception and a proponent of abstinence as a method of population control. The idea of the two-child policy was gained steam during the Indira Gandhi's emergency declaration in 1975, according to another historical record of the policy. China, it has also implemented this one child policy at this period. During Indira Gandhi's presidency, forcible sterilization was also used. This implies that individuals, particularly the impoverished, they were compelled to be sterilized, and about 11 million people they were sterilized in less than 2 years. This was done in the hopes of reducing the population by the forced sterilization. However, if we look at the population growth graphs, we can see that nothing has changed. In reality, despite the forced sterilization of a portion of the population continued to increase in its previous rate. Now let's discuss the states with the two-child policy. Attempts to apply the policy have always been started in the 1994 during the Panchayati Raj Act in Andhra Pradesh, and also the Telangana barred anybody with more than two children from running for office. Families with three children also before to the act's implementation, on the other hand, were permitted to vote. A person with more than two children is ineligible to occupy any position in the Maharashtra government according to the Maharashtra Civil Service rules of 2005. benefits from the public distribution systems were not available to women. Rajasthan also followed the Assam systems by prohibiting the applicants with more than 2 children from in applying for the government positions. In also in the Gujarat, we have they have also implemented this policy besides the Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh for government employment and local body elections in 2001, due to which regulations were repealed for elections in 2005 after receiving many complaints. Now let's discuss the policies which are prevalent at the local level. So we have a very important and a prominent person, Mohan Bhagwat. He is a leader of a national volunteer organization. In 2020, that a two-child policy will be outdone for the organization major aims. The strategy became contentious as a result of Bhagwat's backing, with some claiming that the entire program was an attempt to curb the development of global Muslim community in India. Well, India doesn't yet have national policy, but they have a local laws. So people competing for panchayat elections, they would be disqualified if they do not adhere to the two-child policy restrictions according to the regulations. So now arises a question, and we need really an answer. Is this two-child policy really necessary? From the start, the laws were questioned. People were quick to point out that India, with its burgeoning IT economy, is a country that relies heavily on its youth. There is a worry that limiting the number of children would result in a scarcity of literate young children, which the country requires to continue the technological revolution. Furthermore, because boys are preferred over the females, this will also result in gender imbalance. Most notably, the India's birth rate is going to decrease. So it's the time to conclude this topic. Many local governments, they have passed laws making the more than 2 children illegal, influenced by the China's one child policy. Both domestically and internationally, these laws have been challenged. India's two-child policy is considered to be as problematic and still is in a controversy. So I hope all of you have really understood, and we have come to the conclusion that yes, it's a time to realize that our population is increasing day by day. But when we implement such policies, there would be a violation of various constitutional rights, like your Article 21, which grants you the right to life, would be infringed. We have Article 21A, which talks about right to education. There would be so many articles, so many rights that would be infringed after the implementation of such policies. So it's a time for the Indian government to realize that they need a comprehensive policies regarding the two-child policy. Then only India would be free from such controversy. And also, it's the discretion of the parents to decide whether they have to be getting a child or not. So it should not be forced or should not be pressurized to implement such policies. Thank you very much. Always keep smiling.